Welcome everybody. Just to introduce myself, I'm the owner of Leicht Kitchens. My name is Ohad. Thank you so much for coming to our showroom. Before I will talk about the designer that actually designed the kitchen, I want to say thank you to Carol Court. Carol Court working with us for a few years already, and she was like the first boost that gave us a very big push in our showroom, and we grow up from one showroom to 17 showrooms around the country. Carol is an amazing architect, but beside the fact that she's an architect, she has great, amazing, she's like a friend. She's helping us. She's doing an amazing and great houses. Beautiful eye to design. Very, thank you. We really, really want to thank you for everything that you're doing for us. It's really, really, really great.
You too, and this is an incredible team here, so thanks to everybody.
It's really a pleasure to work with you. I wanted to introduce you to Leah Diamond, and some of you already worked with her for a few houses. She's our senior designer. For me, the best designer. Really, really amazing eye, attention, love, care to every client, and she has many, many clients, so it's very, very hard for her. Leah Diamond, she will continue for me. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Lovely panelists for this evening, the 4 people here today. So first of all, I'd like to start with Carol. Carol is the principal at Carol Kurth Architectural and Carol Kurth Interiors. She's a longtime Leicht collaborator. Her Bedford-based architecture and interior design practice is celebrating 25 years this year. Very exciting. And we're very fortunate to be part of this fantastic project, thanks to Carol. The firm's distinguished and award-winning body of residential and commercial work is notable for its elegant and imaginative integration of site, form, structure, and materials. Carol is passionate about designing distinctive architecture that layers modernism with traditional elements and textures, taking inspiration from nature and the built.
It should be on.
Can everybody hear me without?
Yeah.
Okay. And the built environment principles that are reflected in the Tango house, which we're talking about this evening. Laura. So Laura Bond Design Associates is a New York-based award-winning interior design consulting firm. Laura is an Interior Design Hall of Fame inductee. The firm creates soft yet modern interiors with unexpected hues, textures, and forms, an ability to forecast current design trends and interpret clients' needs has made Laura Bond a New York design authority. Tom Yarasak, partner at Legacy Construction Northeast, brings nearly 25 years of custom home building experience, from speculative homes to residential custom construction to one-of-a-kind renovations in New York City. With the ability to complete some of the most intricately crafted architectural details, he is passionate, knowledgeable, and thrives on exceeding expectations. Tom stays current on new products and materials and enjoys the personal journey where the client, architect, and builder become one team in creating unique projects and amazing results. Finally, our very special introduction to Svetlana Wasserman, an avid naturalist, environmentalist, and incredible cook. Homeowner of Tango House and our close collaborator on this wonderful project. So, without further ado.
Okay, I'll just start off with a huge thanks to Leicht for being part of this amazing journey, this course to Ohad and to Leah, who has just been amazing throughout this process. And I want to also thank, there's so many people on this team. It's really been an incredible collaborative effort throughout this whole journey that we've been doing, 5 years, from the time we met our fantastic client to the design process, the approvals process, to the construction phase. So there have been a tremendous amount of people we've met along the way that have been part of this journey. And I wanted to take this opportunity just to thank a couple of them who are sitting here, or maybe they're back in our office or whatever, but my co-pilot, John Rapetti, back there. And also Diana Wazortek, back there from my team. And then from Laura's team, I want to give a shout out to Sarah Lidra. She's back there. Right over there. Construction side, on Tom's team, there's so many, but you know, I'm going to call it and of course Chris Yarasak and Beth and the whole team back at Legacy Construction. But in addition, there are so many people who have supported this project, been excited about this project, passionate throughout this entire journey. And at the end, on the last slide, we put together a little thank you with people's names on them. Hopefully everybody's included, just to let you all know. But of course, none of this could happen without our amazing clients, Alan and Svetlana Wasserman, who really, we talked about, we should write the book about how to be the perfect client. Because they are the perfect clients, really. So this has been just a really sensational opportunity for us all to be able to realize their dreams and manifest them in this house that was put together with this team. And we've just had, I could just say, nonstop fun, nonstop creativity, great collaboration the entire time. It's just been really, really fun. So I think I just wanted to mention why we chose Leicht, since we're here and the kitchen piece is one of the reasons we're all sitting here. As Ohad mentioned, I had done a number of projects with Leicht and felt that their aesthetic was really the perfect complement to the design that we were creating. And working with Leah closely on other projects, I knew that she would be a great part of this team. And it turned out to be true. So I think it was a really good mix, a really good match. Another piece that I just want to talk about that was really special about the Tango House is the aspects of sustainability and bringing in the environment and the farm-to-table lifestyle. And most people would not imagine that a house of this stature would also involve our client being part of organic gardening, cultivating her own chickens, raising them from scratch, adopting cats, and for us to integrate those elements into the design process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over to Svetlana because this is her dream, her vision, and then we're going to take you on a little journey. Yeah, I think we'll scoot over a little bit so you can see. I want to just say that Svetlana put this part of the presentation together herself. So this first part is something that Svetlana has created.
Thank you all for giving me this opportunity to come and talk about my kitchen in front of people. Because I don't know if any of my friends or family would tolerate me. I don't know how much I love this. So thank you.
We're just bringing up one presentation.
Install kitchen better than that.
Thank you. All right, so thank you. Perfect. So before talking about the wonderful part that this team and Leicht played in our new home, I just want to take you on a very short detour to our old home. We moved from the town of Mamaroneck, Larchmont, where we had a beautiful colonial home in what many consider to be hallowed ground. We were behind the 10th hole of the legendary Wingfoot golf course. We were the only people in the neighborhood who never went beyond miniature golf. But we loved the expansiveness, the views, and when we lived there, for me it had always been very important to provide a healthy life for my family and for the environment around me, because these are very tightly linked. Perfect. So I made sure to buy organic produce, I avoided processed foods, I composted, I planted a pollinator garden, as you can see right there, which attracted all kinds of butterflies. I was able to raise monarchs in my home. I fed local wildlife, and our house was a frequent hub for deer and turkeys. And I don't know if you can see that picture. There's a waiting line to get into the bird feeders. But after a while, I realized that I couldn't be very effective there despite my good efforts, because what was I thinking? I was living behind a golf course. Golf courses provide themselves on the thick, weed-free, manicured turf that they provide, and the only way to achieve it is with a toxic assortment of synthetic fertilizers, herbicides, insecticides, fungicides, and other chemicals. And this toxic cocktail has been linked to numerous risks to humans, including cancer and, of course, damage to local wildlife. And even though I treated my own lawn organically, I learned that this lawn was essentially equivalent to a green desert, because a lawn doesn't create any habitat for insects and small mammals that form the bottom of the food chain. So we decided it was time to start over. And that's when we came up with the idea of building a sustainable home and turning our yard into habitat. At that time, I read a book which deeply influenced me. It changed my life. I recommend it to everyone. It's called Bringing Nature Home by Doug Tallamy. And the premise of the book is that the best hope for saving local wildlife is by turning our backyards into the habitat that's rapidly disappearing in large swaths of our country. And that was our thinking behind our new project, which is a 5-acre home, and we're turning it into native woodland and meadow habitats full of native plants. In fact, the only lawn you find around the house, oh sorry, you can go back a little bit, is on pathways. Our old mow and blow gardener came by the new house. He's like, what is wrong with this place? He goes, this house is 5 times as big in terms of acreage as your old house, and you have 1/5 of the lawn you used to. So we installed a vegetable garden, and we built a coop for our 10 hens so that we could eat organic eggs. They lay about 8 to 10 eggs a day, and they help us reduce food waste because they eat literally any food scrap. And we use the waste from cleaning their coop in our compost, which then is used to enrich our vegetable garden. That's my egg basket at home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that daily?
Anyone who comes, no, about 8 to 10 eggs a day. Anyone who comes to our house leaves with eggs. So let's move inside. Here are shots of some of the food prep in the kitchen. We've got a roasted tomato soup and avocado toast going.
And it was excellent.
For cooking, we asked Leicht to put in an induction cooktop because it's a lot more energy efficient. It cooks food in about half the time as gas, and it doesn't heat up your room. One of the things I love about Leicht's drawers is that they make it so easy to stay organized. I have a lot of spices. And you can see I have them all alphabetically arranged. And the lights that they put in above the drawers make it really easy to see what you're looking for. I love these kinds of baskets which make it easy for you to organize tall bottles like oils and vinegars. Let's see, these little metal shelves above the countertop are super handy for keeping stuff that you use often, like salt and pepper. And if you look at the slide on the right, I love that drawer underneath the oven where I keep my pizza stone, because it weighs about 15 pounds, and that's not the kind of thing you want to be lifting from way up high. So it's very convenient, no space wasted. Adjustable drawer inserts allow you to customize the width and length of the compartment so that you can fit your specific set of cutlery. I love that the knife block keeps you from getting any cuts when you're reaching for knives. And I love the drawer liners, which come right out, and you can easily clean them and put them back in. Two other favorites, my steam oven, which I'd never used before, but you can cook anything that you would normally cook involving water in the steam oven. So I make oatmeal in there, I make eggs, coffee, pasta, really handy. And on top, very spacious organizer for racks. Their drawers are really deep, and you can see in this picture that I've got all of my bowls, salad plates, and dinner plates and all fit in one drawer, which is pretty incredible. And I love the trash system because I am very fastidious about reducing waste. So we've got 4 different compartments. One is used for regular garbage, one is used for single stream, like plastic and glass, one for plastic bags that go back to the supermarket, and one for compost. So it really makes it really easy to keep garbage off the counters. They also put in 2 appliance garages, which are great for keeping the kitchen clutter-free. One of them hides our microwave and still has room for small appliances around it. And the other one is a coffee station with a pull-out drawer. And I just wanted to end with a huge thank you to our talented team, Carol Kurth Architects, for their vision and attention to detail that makes literally every corner of the house breathtaking. Legacy Construction, whose dedication to quality ensured that all the work was done to the highest standards. To Laura Bond Design Associates, whose creativity and aesthetic is second to none. And for Tulani for putting the cherry on the cake and making every detail just pop beautifully. Thank you so much for inviting us.
That was just amazing. So we can just stop at this point.
Yeah.
We're going to stop right now. What else is there to say? And everything, really, what else is there to say? I mean, fantastic. I mean, you can see why she is the perfect client, because she's really passionate about what she believes in, and it was a real joy for us to really make it happen in a physical, 3-dimensional way, and a place where she could live with her family and enjoy all of that every day. So we wanted to talk a little bit about sort of our roles and our cross-pollination of roles. I guess would be the
That was good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cross-pollination. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So as the architects on the project,
Can you ratchet this one down?
how's this?
Is that the right one?
Okay, so as the architectural firm on the project, we worked on developing, plans, 3-dimensional aspects, the physical manifestation of this fantastic home. And one of the drivers on this, in the design part, in the initial, was, in addition to having this incredible kitchen, was this fantastic couple who was passionate about tango dancing, and they actually met on the dance floor. So immediately my mind went to, we've got to design the most incredible tango room, because in their former home, it was in the lower level and really not illuminated, and it just seemed to be...
But they had one.
But they had one. That's true, Laura. They had one. So one of the design driving forces was this idea of how do we make this Tango room really special? Instead of the basement, we went the opposite, we put it at the top of the house. And I remember thinking, how can we really make this feel like a really special environment? And so came up with the idea of the sloped curved roof, which you'll see in a few moments, that to me sort of evoked the grace of the dance and the form of the dance. And then we ended up with this idea of the lighting, that it's like a light cloud, and you'll see that in the design. But part of this was also not only form, but textures, materials, and how do we make the building sustainable? So it's geothermal, there's solar panels, there's a cladding on the exterior that is a thermally heated ash that hopefully will endure for a very long time. And yeah, we have bird glass on the windows so that, you know, in this modern home, a lot of times on modern
Everybody know
homes.
what bird
yeah,
glass
yeah.
is. Bird glass.
Yes. The bird glass, yeah.
The bird, it's actually glass that has little striations in it that the human eye can hardly see, but the birds see it. I mean that. The birds can see it. They avoid flying into the glass because they see this web of almost like branches in the glass. It's very, very difficult to see with the human eye.
I love my bird class. I just have to say one thing about it. It's based on the idea of biomimicry, where you take designs from nature and apply them to human technology, and it comes from spider webs. The spiders don't want birds crashing into their webs. And so spiders' webs reflect ultraviolet light, which birds can see, but we can't. So that's the idea behind these windows, is they have like these striations within the glass that we can't see, but birds can.
And it does seem to work, because we have not seen dead birds around the house. There's massive amounts of glass in this house.
And I want to say, it's not something we did lightly either. There was a lot of research into each of these elements. We went on a field trip up to Vassar College to look at bird glass installed in place, hear about their experience with it. Went to Audubon lectures about it. I mean, we really did a lot of research. I got a copy of that book from Svetlana right at the beginning of the project, required reading. So, you know, a lot of these things that that were involved in this home, you know, it wasn't just like we drew a little sketch and that was it. There's a lot of research that went behind so many of the elements here, and you know, just so much collaboration and, again, you know, bringing that passion to this project. So, you know, architecturally, there's so many elements, and we'll take you on a journey, a photo journey of some of this shortly. I know that Laura wants to say a few words about the interiors, maybe?
No?
And then we'll just talk about,
No.
as we go through the
Well,
slides.
let's see when we go through the slides. I have a lot to say about it, but I think you need
Go
pictures.
through the pictures.
Don't you
Okay,
think?
we'll go through
Does
some
anybody want
pictures.
pictures? Okay,
All right,
by the way.
so let's take you on a journey. Let's take you on a journey.
Okay. See?
So part of the design aspect of this was, as Ivana mentioned, no lawn, but also was about the procession of how do you approach the house. And part of that for us was this idea of a reflecting pool. I do want to mention that we have a really talented landscape architecture firm involved in this project as well, Van Sweden, Eric Roft, and Robert Johnson. And they've spent a tremendous amount of time also researching the plants, working with Svetlana specifically on certain ones that attract the butterflies and how they're timed. So that's a whole sort of sub-chapter to all of this. But part of it is that the procession to the entry of the house, you see through from one end as you go through the building, but you're also walking across a reflecting pool that then reflects the house in the water. And there is on the left side an elevated section, which is Eric's brainchild, that has a water flow fall, and it's attracting frogs and wildlife and all sorts of other things that are growing there, aquatics, all sorts of things. So this is through the front door looking back, and there is a fantastic sculpture by David Harbour. This is big reflective board, and it too reflects the house. So when you look at it, you can see the house reflected in it, and it illuminates at night. So this is once you're in the foyer, and it's a beautiful open space, and you can see different materials. And then Laura, you might want to speak to some of
Well,
the.
I'm just saying that in the picture, because of lovely flooring. Where is she?
Yes, Donna's here.
Donna's here.
Hudson flooring.
Hudson
beautiful.
flooring, really gorgeous, but the flooring actually is not that color.
Yeah.
It's much
much
darker.
grayer,
It's not a
gray.
blonde color. Sort of bothered me it came out that color. But it's really a beautiful gray, taupey color, natural looking color. And so all the materials through the entire house are things that were generated from the kitchen, pretty much. Because, you know, if you look in the showroom, there are so many gorgeous materials. So we had a lot of meetings picking through those gorgeous materials just to get the right ones. And so in their kitchen, there's concrete and there's wood and there's glass and there's steel and there's lots. Stone and really probably at least a dozen materials, right? But so those same materials get translated throughout the house. So every time you see a wood wall or the floor or almost any material goes through the entire house. It's all really tied together in terms of materials, which really makes it feel connected. It makes it feel soft, even though there are people that like hard surfaces, just have to say that. I've never had a client that liked hard surfaces, but they like hard. For sitting. She likes really hard for sitting. So we go a lot of showrooms, they go, no, not hard enough. So, you know, I never had to deal with that before because most people want soft. And so on the other side, they really like soft materials. So it's hard surfaces and soft materials. So there are lots, like the carpet is, that's not a banana silk, is it?
Yeah.
Is it banana silk, Sarah?
Yeah.
The living room carpet, is that banana silk?
Yes.
Okay, super tufted, I mean, really fuzzy, fabulous. In fact, when Svetlana first walked into the house, remember this? She laid down on it like she was a cat. That's what I like. She laid down flat on the rug and just went, I pictured you doing that. So you can see that's really soft. And then the sofa's done in a mohair. Everything in the room is pretty much cat-proof, kid-proof, practical, easy to use, not delicate, even though it looks like it, very luxurious, but it's not. I mean, it is luxurious, but it's easy to use. So, and then, of course, the
I want
fireplace.
to mention one thing as we go
Right.
through the house, to look at the floor, because there is a transition point where there's the cat area
Yes,
and everybody else.
yes.
So we have a
We have these wonderful
demarcation
screen
in-
doors.
Yes, we have fabulous, you'll see screen doors, and it switches from that gorgeous Hudson flooring to the tile, the porcelain, so you'll see
Tell them
that.
about your fireplace, go ahead.
Okay, so
So
tell you about the
fabulous.
fireplace. So this is sort of this hard edge, soft idea too, because obviously stone is hard. But what happened is we went on a little site visit out to ABC in Brooklyn, and we've gone on many. And on one occasion we were looking for slabs for the kitchen, another time we were looking for fireplace. And I don't know, just somehow stumbled upon these slabs, and there were only two.
What's it called, Black Fantasy? Is that
Black
the name?
Fantasy,
Oh, it's
Black
amazing.
Fantasy, and there were only two, and I was like, we have to have these, we have to. And so we were trying to figure out how we can work them into the design. And Diana and John and I don't know how many iterations of this we worked on to do drawings, three-dimensional drawings, elevations. We took photos of the slabs. I mean, we worked them, and the idea
You
was.
chip the corners, how
Yes,
about that?
that was fun. So anyway, at the end of the day, the idea was to sort of do this asymmetrical idea and leave a split and pull the stone away so it could glow. And then I actually went up to the fabricator, Tom's fabricator, and spent the day with them, mocking up and working out the edges. We actually did a full and spent the day with them, mocking up and working out the edges. We actually did a full scale on our computer edge design. But then I went up there and we were chiseling. Yeah. And then we have video of them bringing this in, which was unbelievable. I don't know how Tom arranged those guys to do that.
There's a lot of details that you know, they look beautiful when they're completed, but you don't really notice what really went into creating that detail. Like those slabs are held off the wall to allow that lighting in behind it, and just the engineering that went in behind that slab to help hold it up there and keep it exactly there. There's steel inside the firebox there, and there's that cantilevered concrete part that again was an amazing concept, and to actually bring it to fruition and to end up with a product after a lot of back and forth with architects, engineers, designers, homeowners, all having input into this was really interesting and fun.
I used to do barters. How about the barters?
The what?
Carol and I did barters about details.
Oh, yeah.
So we would have a conflict and say, you know, Carol said, I want to do it this way, and I'd say, I want to do it that way, and I said, okay, if you do it your way, then I can do the next one my way. And so we would barter, and Alan would die laughing over this.
That was always a good fun.
It was in fun. It was with fun, but we did it in front of the client, but we would go, no, I can't, no, I'll trade you 3 of those for 2 of those. We worked it. We really worked it. 100 meetings. This is a 5-year project, as you know, 5-year project and 5 years of fabulous lunches for the entire crew every single time. Amazing.
Perfect.
Perfect. Now, I'm not talking sandwiches and stuff. I'm talking really beautiful lunches.
You saw that
Soup,
avocado toast.
14 different kinds of pizza, every kind of thing, avocado toast, everything fabulous. It was amazing.
You have to also realize that some of our meetings in the earlier phases of construction, they went for about 6 hours.
Oh my God, yes.
And so lunch was sorely needed. Right. So here's the magnificent moment.
Gorgeous
The
kitchen.
kitchen being revealed here. So what you're seeing in front are what we call the rain fixtures from the dining room table. It's just a superimposed image that you see from the dining room when the kitchen doors are open, looking to that gorgeous Leicht kitchen, that ABC stone, and then we did with Mauricio right here, antique lumber. That slab on that bar counter was from a tree that had a heritage that we marked out, spent eons laying out, and then they finished it, and then we had, where there were fissures, we had it filled in with resin. So like each element that went on in this project, nothing was simple.
Right, but see, here you have a longer shot.
But the idea was for it to look, elegant, natural, and casual. And those are the screen doors we were talking about. There's the big giant pair, and then the smaller one on the side.
That's the cat-proof part.
Everything to the kitchen
No
side.
cats after that.
Okay, so here's some more kitchen views. Svetlana, you want to talk about the 2 sinks and the 2 sink areas?
Yeah, so we have a division of labor at home. I do the cooking, my husband does the washing, and in our old house we only had 1 sink, so we were always in each other's way. So now we have 2 sinks. I have my prep sink, he has his washing up sink. His sink is the one that's on the left of the frame. He has the beautiful view so that he can be entertained while he's washing the dishes.
How nice of you. Very thoughtful.
And this is one of the burners that's just directly into the stone. It's just a single, just one, or we have 2? Just one burner. But all the materials here are really extraordinary. There's that mosaic on the back wall. There's a lot of materials here. I mean, really probably a dozen. So there's mosaic on the back wall. There's the extraordinary marble on the countertop. There's the live edge you just described. But then the counter faces are concrete, are they not? Are they glass? What's the one on the top? Those are glass, and there's others that are concrete.
Yeah, it's like that.
Beautiful combination of materials that we all spend 1,000 hours working on. You can see it more here. And then the floor is it's a porcelain tile, but it's got a lot of copper and metallic. A lot of metallic, yes, beautiful colors. And the sink is amazing too. It's got that rolling thing that goes on the top of the sink. That's the drain rack. You can just pleat it up if you want to. It's pretty fabulous. And then a cozy little area. I always think the kitchen needs a little cozy place to hang out. So we did the banquette. Everything's supposedly cat-proof. Yeah, a little quasi on the cat-proof part. Some of it the cats don't like. We're happy. Some of it they do like. We're not so happy. But yeah. Anyway, you see, it's a great place to hang out. And we had our lunches there. We had lunches after the house went up. We had all of our lunches right there.
And we continue to. So in the background, you'll see those vertical elements. That's actually the pool fence. Beyond it is the pool that's still a little bit under construction there because it's not landscaped yet in that image.
Explain the way that wall is.
Yeah, so
That wall is pretty fabulous.
So there's a couple of elements about the stone wall beyond. It is in a position where there was an old farm wall, and so it's the idea that it went from the rubble of the farm wall that then winds its way through the property and is now a wall within the pool that has water spouts that recirculate and fill the pool. And then another piece of that is the fence, which is not just a straight fence, it's actually a sculptural element that winds its way around the property.
But it's buried in the ground and it's just posts, they don't touch each other. Stainless steel
PJ should
posts.
speak to that one.
Yeah, PJ can speak to that, I mean, it's just an amazing thing.
There's stainless steel posts, and there is no horizontal elements to it. It's all vertical. Anything horizontal is underground that actually supports the fence. So they're just tines kind of that come out of the earth, and they're sculptural in the way that they serpentine down the property. It's very interesting, very unique. It's sculptural. It's a fence. It's a pool fence, so it functions as a pool fence and meets all codes. But it's really a work of art and a sculpture.
I love this one.
This is actually my daughter's idea. She was probably about 11 or 12 at the time. She said, I saw this picture of a geodesic dome that was used for chickens. Let's do that.
That's a great idea.
So we mentioned it to them. They're like, fantastic. So yeah, they built it. Tom could say something about that. And this is like a, Fifth Avenue penthouse for the chickens. They have playground inside there. They have swings. They have like trees for climbing. They have temperature control, heated water, a fan. They even have like a little private area if they don't want to be with the other chickens.
And I want to say, if you go on my Instagram, you might find there's an Instagram story with the chickens, and they're swinging on the perch. It's hilarious. But I want to also say that, we've talked about a lot of research. Well, Tom also raises chickens. So there was a lot of
Chicken
ideas. I've been raising chickens for 12 years or so, and it's been a passion and a hobby of mine and my wife and our kids. So I took a lot of that knowledge and incorporated it into this really special chicken coop.
Stairs? Talk about the stairs? So there's two sets of stairs in the house. One I'll call the more formal staircase, and the other is I'll call more the informal and the service stair in between. But they both have elements that resemble one another, such as the steel detailing, glass elements. The floor is continuous. You can see that.
I have to mention the landing. I have to mention the landing. The landing's very cool. That's the last landing of the staircase, and so they wanted a little cozy place to be. So it's got a little tiny sofa up there, a couple of pillows, just a little space about as big as this table. Just a little cozy place. It's her penthouse, yeah. But then Alan wanted to get in on it too, and he goes, "We gotta have another lamp." Remember, he was into it too. Have you been up there? No. Oh.
Not yet.
Sorry.
Not yet. So this is the media room. So this is where the family gets together to watch TV, and it has step seating in the back, an acoustical, really three-dimensional wall in the back too to help put
Felt. It's all felt. It's a sound thing.
Soft.
You see how that wood wall felt? The ceiling's all wood, and then the rest of it on the corners and wrapping around, and then that's three-dimensional. Those little goodies. They're quite large actually, and it's all in felt, so it's very sound absorbing. Oh, this is the master bedroom. I love this. The mural on the back wall is of one of Svetlana's photographs that we enlarged. I think it's about 30 feet across, and we had it printed in sepia tones. She's a wonderful photographer, so throughout the house we've used her photographs in big ways, whole walls. So it's beautiful. It's got banana silk carpeting, that wall that goes all the way across. There's a headboard that also runs parallel to it. And then you've got the view out of one corner, and the whole other wall you can't see is a fantastic view. So it's very cozy. And this is the other side of it, which is the sitting area in color. Color! I never use much color. I love that color.
And I want to mention about the art. There's a lot of interesting art throughout the house. Those are actually cut up tree branches that have metal applied to them. And basically the art changes depending on the sunlight and the outdoors and the shadows. So it's a really cool, almost jewel-like experience. Piece of art.
the master bath. Ooh. Well, the tub stories, the master bath stories. Well, let me just say, I'll just do a couple of quickies and you do it because you guys agonized over that tub. But this wall on the right is the photograph of Svetlana's that we had translated into mosaic. That's actually 24 karat gold, the real deal. And the whole picture was, whatever, they digitized it, made the whole picture digitized and then translated into tile. Pretty fabulous. So it wraps around the corner. So you're only getting in the corner, it actually wraps around the other side. And then Carol, on the bottom, did a little reveal that separates it from the floor, which is all little loose stones. It's pretty fabulous.
Just so that the wall floats top to bottom. And I want to just say that John spent countless hours on the Bazalta tile and which way to position it and what colors to tone it into, to turn Svetlana's photograph into this mosaic tile. And for Tom and his team to actually miter and make that corner on the tile, you have no idea.
A lot of challenges. As Laura was
We
saying,
dream it, he makes it.
as Laura was saying, even the tub, I mean, that's what kind
The
of,
tub almost killed us.
what really makes this project, not only the A+ design team that we had, was the A+, contractors and subcontractors and artisans and craftsmen that were able to build this. Yes, we were there and managed the whole thing, but the tubs, Get Real Surfaces, they made a tub, they delivered it to us, and it really wasn't acceptable to the design team. And even
As
then,
soon as you backed away from it, it looked fine.
but,
Remember that?
yeah.
It had these big holes in it, and we're all going, oh, this looks terrible. They go, well, you just back up a little bit. You just back up. I mean, you can't see it from here. And we're all going,
And
what?
they're used to selling tubs like that meet other people's expectations, but it wasn't meeting the design team and the owner's expectations. So we took the time to get them back down there, and they agreed. They're a fabulous company, and they worked with us to get it right. They tried modeling it, repairing it on site, and ended up making a whole new one and getting it there for us. But
Well, I think
that's kind of the model, or the theme of the whole project, was that we have these amazing contractors from our AV contractors, Advanced Audio, Hudson Flooring, that's here. I mean, they come together and really help put this project together.
But I think everybody loved working on it because there were so many interesting and intricate parts. It really had everybody rise up in their abilities. But there was a funny story about the tub. I think there was really like 4 trips up to Get Real to work with them on this tub. And one time we went, and I remember when it was fuzzy and it felt hairy inside. Something happened with the concrete and it shrunk away from the fibers. And so we went to look at it, we're like, what is all this hair on the inside of the tub? And we touched it, and it was like as though it was a chia pet on the inside. And he was like, well, we could, shave off the fibers. And we're like, that's not gonna work. What if they come back out? Or, what if in water they expand? Anyway, the end of the story, after multiple times, and after Alan, I don't know what to say about it, but wrote a couple of, we kept increasing. One time he got a bottle of wine to fix it, another time he got a bottle of scotch. At the end he got champagne. When we got it right, we got a new tub. Anyway. The gallery.
Big tango pictures on the wall, you can't see them there.
And so here's,
Fabulous picture of the two of them doing the tangos and sexy so fabulous. Yeah, in the tango room.
so that's the light cloud that I mentioned before. That was an incredible feat to be able to hang these lights without discussions. They're all concealed up in the woodwork. That's another Tom and PJ brilliant moment.
Remember how we kept ordering more of them? We said, okay, it needs another 20, okay, it needs another 20, another 20, another 20. We just kept throwing them in, we needed a
And
lot.
the thing is that the lights aren't randomly placed. It was the exact place that everybody, the design team had wanted these lights, that you hold the grid that we had to set up on the floor and then transfer up to the ceiling and then actually get the,
And it was the lengths of each cable.
yeah.
We're all different lengths.
There were 3-dimensional. Svetlana and Alan doing their most remarkable clothes. And then there's this really wonderful commission that we had from City Press of the Tango, we call it, piece of art.
And that's a blow up of just, it's not your shoes, but it looks like her shoes.
Oh, her shoes are on the ledge.
Yeah, her shoes are underneath actually. close to it. But that's showing all the different materials at one time. Anyway, that's, you know, what's the name of those doors? Rimadisio doors. They're so beautiful from Italy. And then on the back behind that is zinc. Is it zinc?
Yeah.
And then, you know, the walnut that travels all through the house in different ways. With a sink over on that side, the shoes, the blow-up of the shoes. That's one of the upstairs media rooms. Huge screen. Again, the walnut running throughout the house. And then those floor tiles that flow through like rocks. We didn't want a square rug or rectangular rug. We wanted it to flow through. So it goes through this room into the next room. And then there's this giant screen door, cat door, from downstairs that closes off that side. And on the right is felt panels with like little zipper details, zipper felt. Pretty fabulous. I actually didn't want that. I fought you on that. I was wrong. They're fabulous. I love them. No, I was totally wrong. No, really. Because I was like, oh, it's too much. I don't like it. No, I was wrong. They're wonderful. They're wonderful. Oh, and then this is fun. This is over the back entrance to the house. That's the other staircase, which is more playful. And since it's a two-story space, we decided to put a huge hammock on the top. It's a 10.
Brainchild on that one.
I did. I used my brainchild. 10-foot square up there. Now, Alan and Svetlana got in it and could hardly get out. I wouldn't even try it. I wouldn't even get in there. I'm like going, no. Oh, it's not easy.
But that's Sarah.
That's Sarah. That's my Sarah in the back. Well, she's there. And then Aiden, who didn't want his picture taken, he's got a book over his face. But that's the whole bottom of the two-story back entrance. Pretty fabulous. That's another one of the media rooms. It's next to the pool downstairs. And what's that material in the back? That black? It looks like lava. What is that?
Oh, it's just like a tile. It's almost like a cork, but it's
a real
tile.
dimensional, really thick thing like that.
Robin Reggie.
And then there's the indoor lap pool. So cool.
So this is in the lower level of the house, and so most often in a lower level, you're not going to get any light. So part of this design was to create this linear sky like that, basically mimic the length of the pool, so that you're getting the light the whole way with the lattice. And that's that. Yes, that's it. How many collaborators, Lindsay, on that? 168?
Might even be not enough.
It might not be.
Probably more than that.
Probably more than that. That's what we fit on that page. Right on page 2. So we want to thank you all and thanks. I got 4. 1, 2. So thank you so much for hosting this amazing evening. Thank you everybody for being with us.
Yeah, really.
Thank you mostly to Svetlana and Alan.
Absolutely. You're willing to try everything. That's the best part. You just tried everything. So willing. Fabulous. Any questions? Anybody have questions?
Is our next meeting at the house?
Yeah, it might be. Talk to her.
Well, we're meeting every Tuesday. We might be meeting every other Tuesday at this point. We said we can't wean ourselves. We just like,
The last day after we
Tuesdays forever.
the last day after we installed just the house part, we haven't finished with it, but the house part, we're all standing on the driveway going, oh my God, we're not going to see each other anymore. We're like, what? Because we became a family. We were just a family.
But we will this week.
Yeah, we will this week.
Yeah.
But when you remember that day we were standing out there and we're going, oh my God, everybody's going somewhere else. I'm not coming back. And what?
So Alan said we can come on Tuesdays if we want to. It's like Tuesdays with Svetlana and Alan instead of Tuesdays with
Tuesday.
What's not shown in the pictures was also there's a pool house that we're currently
Doing the pool house right now.
Almost
Got
done.
it.
Almost done.
Almost done this week.
Anyway,
Or
thank
any
you all.
questions or?
Somebody's got to have a question. Someone.
Sure.
Yay.
So, did you just hand over your house to them? Like,
No.
oh no, they were.
No, they were so involved. No, these 5-hour meetings were with them. Are you kidding? No,
We
seriously.
were part of the negotiation.
They were.
And
No.
I had to get smart, okay, because they would trick me. anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, there was
Very
a lot
involved.
of, tell them what Eric said.
What did Eric say? Which part?
Our landscaper.
This was so great. I'm gonna use this for the rest of my life. He said to Svetlana, she was saying, well, I want these flowers and this, and he said, I don't really care what you want. I'm doing exactly what I want. You know, like, whoa, how did that happen? I'm gonna use that. I don't think it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try.
Yes, just speak up.
You guys have mentioned a 5-year
Yeah.
span time. How much of that was actual construction versus design?
Like 3 plus.
3 plus on construction?
Yeah, well, part of it was, there was demo, it's almost
His house from
really
scratch.
3 plus.
We actually have pictures of Svetlana, video of Svetlana ripping down the house, the old house that was
So,
there.
yeah, we tore
She was
down
even
another
excavator.
house to build this
We
house.
taught her how to operate the excavator and tore down the old house.
Yeah,
That
so
was,
we should say
that was
that,
when I was a lot younger.
we should say that this was a tear down property.
Tear down property.
And so there was a house there before, and so we did a whole demo thing, and there was an existing pool house, which became our meeting venue and the job site office for Legacy Construction through most of the project until it was time to do the pool house, and then they had it vacate.
Yeah. What, anybody else?
Anyway, it was an amazing experience, and we really, like you said, we became a family, great friends, the whole design team.
There's even a project dog. So all those cats, PJ has his dog that comes to
Yeah,
work.
we love that when the dog would come.
But the dog stays in the trailer, or in its truck.
Had the team worked together beforehand?
No.
Or just so you?
Well, no, we've worked together for about 12 years on many, many projects, but Laura and I had never worked together. I had heard of Laura.
I've heard of you.
And our clients brought us together. They felt, first of all, Laura had a relationship with the family.
20-something years I've been working with the family. These people. Their parents, Alan's parents, before we met them. Yeah.
And then, I guess about a year into the project, Alan and Svetlana said, we think you and Laura would really hit it off. We'd love to integrate her into the project, and it was just at the right time, and just all flowed.
I just have a question about the geodesic dome. Chicken?
Yes, the chicken thing.
Do they ever leave? Are they permanently
The
reside?
permanent residents.
Do they ever like go into the yard or not? They stay
No,
there?
I don't. In my old house, I would let them because they had a smaller space.
They're also rented.
But I'm
You forgot
putting
they were
in,
rented.
they destroy plantings. They're very destructive.
They
So,
scratch.
especially because I'm being really careful about what kind of plants I'm bringing in, and, I don't want them ruined.
So that they can kind of enjoy life within their.
They're safe. It's a fabulous thing. It's completely safe. I love that.
It's a pretty large area.
It's really big. It's about, isn't it 20 feet or so? It's huge. It doesn't look that big in the picture. It's really big.
And it's got a section in there that has dirt and soil. Some of it is sand. The main part is sand, but there is a spot for dirt and soil because they do like to dust bathe themselves. So they get into the dirt and flip it onto themselves. And that's something that they enjoy doing. So we made sure to add that into it.
And these are very well fed chickens. They're the largest chickens I think I've ever seen. They're really like on those size of turkeys. Yeah.
What are each of your favorite design element or room of the home, having lived the
God.
project?
I have a few. No,
Tango room is one of my
I
favorites.
love the upstairs media room a whole lot. I love the downstairs media room a whole lot. I love the pool. No, I love them all.
Oh,
They're all fabulous. Craft room. Oh, we didn't even show the craft room. Oh, the craft room is fabulous.
I think it's between the kitchen, the craft room, and the library.
The craft room is really spectacular. Oh my God.
we didn't even show you the power rooms.
There's how many powder rooms? 10 powder rooms? Yeah.
Anyway, we really want to thank all of you. There's still some food. We can mingle a little bit. I think Todd will let us stay in the show for a little bit longer. Yeah. But we've really.
Tango lessons.
Have you had it?
They actually had the nerve to invite us to a tango. Like they're all there with their real tango dancers. What, you have a question?
I
I have a question, and I know I'm gonna get help for it later.
Problem.
But what was the best thing of the collaboration, and what was the most difficult part of the collaboration between the two? Come
I
on.
remember those parts. No, the best part was that we collaborated all the time. I mean, that was the fun part. And we, all of us, had ideas. Tom, John, everybody had major ideas about every single, that's why it took 6 hours to do a meeting. It's because everybody had major ideas. So every one of those ideas had to be evaluated and thought out and figured out. It was really complicated. Do you remember that woman that came with a twig? Oh my God, that was so scary. This woman from England came who wanted to build, what was it? It was a living twig thingy.
Willow hut.
It was a willow hut, and she had to come back. She said she had to come back first class every year to manage it. And Alan said, "You mean we couldn't just manage it ourselves?" No, I have to come back. She was so weird. Oh my gosh, she's so weird. We were all just dying from that.
I think for me, the hardest part about the collaboration is that these two, they got to the point where they could start a sentence with just a few words and not finish it, and the other one knew exactly where she was going. And then she would reply, and then she would know where she finished. I was completely lost. I had no idea what was going on.
But we always include you in. Once we
reached the decision.
Once we reached the decision.
What to do, then we would let her know what it was.
Right, so then we would say to Svetlana, we're thinking this, that, and the other thing. It could have been this, it could have been that, but we think this would be the best approach.
We had serious shorthand. We had serious shorthand between us. It was really good. It was
Rob,
really
you
good.
have a question? You're shaking your head.
Oh my God. No.
Maybe you can
Yes, and like, can't even go there. Oh my God.
Do you have any advice for someone who's looking to, design the kitchen? Like, what's your kind of...
Come here and her lady, where is she? There she, there you are. She's brilliant, I'm not kidding. We had so many meetings here, and she did these beautiful drawings, and we flipped the materials 14 times, and she'd do it again and again, and then she shows up that day with the boxes up in the ceiling, and you go, oh my God, she had to organize all of it and put it in place. I mean, it was like, whoa. I mean, really, really complicated. She's brilliant, really brilliant.
Laura's monograph here, and then a book that features one of Carol's projects, 2 projects. So put your name or your business card in, and then there are also some of Laura's books for sale if you don't win the raffle, but you'd like to take it home. So,
She'll sign them, Yay!